Good evening, all of you. Become audible to all.
Good evening, ma'am. Yes, you are audible.
Okay. So this is the very first introduction session of your MERN stack training, right?
Yes, ma'am, of course.
So now let's
Yes,
begin.
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So let's begin with just a basic understanding of the technologies involved in this training session using the MERN stack, which stands for the MongoDB, Express, React, and Node.js, right? And before starting the session, I just want to know from any one of you, and I will take the name. Like, what is the purpose behind joining this session? And if you people have the basic knowledge of HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, all right. So just raise your hands, whoever has the basic knowledge of HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Just raise your hands. I can see quite a few people. No, there are many people. All right. Okay. So, and who, all right, and who all has already worked with other tech stacks in web development? Just raise your hands. And rest of the others, just down your hands. Okay. So I can assume these are not freshers, like they have already worked in the field of web development with different technologies. So Sanjay, can you tell me for database, what did you use previously? Sanjay Kumar Mahato.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, what did you use for providing the database previously?
Like in this case, like MongoDB.
Okay, so you have worked with the MongoDB, right?
No, ma'am. Actually, I have done Oracle and MySQL.
Okay, so you have used MySQL in your previous web development projects, isn't it?
Yeah, I have a little bit knowledge in MongoDB, so I will definitely write all these things.
Okay.
Yeah.
And okay. So lower your hands. Yeah, just all of you low down your hands. And now, those people, just raise your hands who have worked with JavaScript, like the DOM manipulation, etc. So, have you made any different kind of websites using JavaScript and provided functionalities to them? All right. So these are the very basic prerequisites that you people need in order to learn the MERN stack. So here is a basic presentation of the tech stack that we are going to learn in this internship. This is screen visible to all.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So one thing I have to make clear to all of you that as we are starting your MERN session from today onwards, right? And in the upcoming classes, I will teach you a lot more things in this MERN stack, like the backend as well as the front. And I want you people to respond whenever I ask certain questions. And whichever topic I have taught in the previous class, I will ask the questions related to that topic in the next class. And if I take the name of any one person, they have to switch their mic on and then have to tell me the answer. And rest of the others are required to switch their mics off. And it's mandatory for them to switch their mics off as well as their videos off. So this is the much that I expect from you people from your side. Now let's moving on to what MERN stack actually is. So here you can see that the MERN stack, as I have already said, stands for MongoDB, which is used for the database. The Express.js is the backend framework, and React is the front-end framework. And Node.js is the runtime environment, having which we can use the Express.js and React.js. And without the Node.js, we cannot use React and Express for building the backend and front end of the website. Now, just let me see. Just lower your hands. Yeah. Now tell me, how many of you are very much aware about the client-server architecture? All right. Polumi Gandhi, are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Polumi, can you explain me in a simple terms what do you mean by the client-server architecture?
Sure, ma'am. It is like when a user type a URL like Google www.google.com, this will go into the server in DNS form, means via like IP address, and the server will receive the request, and if the request is means if it is valid, then it will.
Hold on, Polumi. Saroj Kumar, you are required to switch your mic off here. Saroj Kumar, are you there? All right.
Yes,
Go
ma'am.
on, Polumi.
Yes, ma'am.
You are required to
Hello.
switch your mic off, dear. I have just said.
Yeah. Hello.
All right, Polumi, go on.
Yes, ma'am. Should I start from first?
No, you're not required. You were saying that it sends the request in the form of an IP address. And then?
And then if the server is if the server sends the request as it was expected, means 200, then the user will see the Google website. And if it is not fetched properly, it will throw error.
Okay.
404.
All right, Polumi. So now let me provide you the brief description of the client-server architecture. Say, for instance, you want to obtain some data from a website. Say, for example, you want to see a video in YouTube. So, from your side, your device is the client. And what do you have to do? In order to send the request, you need a web browser, right? And in the web browser, you will go and you will search YouTube over there. And that will send the signal to the server of the YouTube. And then you will get navigated to the YouTube page. And this is the entire thing is working on the requests, right? Because you are sending the request to the server. After that, what is going to happen is the YouTube will take your request. Say, for instance, you want to see the live streaming video of the FIFA football match. Over there, it will send the request to the server. Since it's a live video, it is being telecasted live. What if it's already having certain videos stored in its database? At that moment, the server will send the request, will take the data from the database. And then the server will respond back to the client with that particular data the user wants. Understood? Or are there any doubt? The rest of the others, what about you? All right. I assume that you people understand. Okay. After understanding this client server architecture, we can now see that these things have three things. The front end, which contains the user's interface, and then the certain functionalities through which the user can interact with the website. These all things fall under the front end. Now coming on to the back end. The back end provides the logic, the website, and it establishes the communication and the business logic between the client and the database. This is the part of the backend. And now moving on to the database. Database is nothing but it acts like a storage in order to store data in different formats. Now we will see how these front-end, back-end, and database come together in order to make a full stack website. All right. So each component in the MERN stack, it plays a crucial role. As I have already said, that the React is for the front end, Express is for the back end, and the MongoDB is for the database. And one of the most easiest thing for the MERN stack is that you just have to work with JavaScript for the front end as well as for the back end. For those who have worked with MySQL and Java, Spring Boot, etc., they had to learn different languages in order to create a full stack website. In order to implement the backend using Java Spring Boot, you have to learn Java. And if you are creating a front end using React or Angular, over there, you have to learn JavaScript. And in order to provide the database connectivity, you have to learn different queries of SQL. But in case of the MERN stack, here you have to learn just a single thing, that is JavaScript, which can be used for the front end as well as for the back end. Now, aren't any one of you going to ask me, ma'am, what is the basic difference between the MySQL and MongoDB? Nobody has got this question in their minds. Okay. For those who do not know, the difference between the MySQL and MongoDB is that, as one of the students has already said, that they used MySQL in order to make their projects. So previously, what was used to happen, that people used MySQL in order to store their databases. Over there, they used to write a lot of queries in order to fetch and sort data according to their requirement. And obviously, they had to learn different kind of queries, different kind of commands, different kind of constraints, all these things in order to sort the data or search the data from a table where the data was being stored in the form of a tabular form. So here, what do I mean by the tabular form? Those data were being stored in the form of rows and columns, as all of you might have an idea. Yes, Nathan. Yeah, true. All right. So what makes the MySQL different from MongoDB? Inside MongoDB, as you can see over here, the data is stored in the form of a JSON format. And those who have a little bit of knowledge about the JavaScript, they might be knowing that what is the JSON format. The JSON format is a format in which the data is stored separated by a colon between them. They resemble a lot more like the objects that we have in JavaScript. And now moving on to the difference between objects and JSON format. They look very similar to each other, but in JSON format, we place the keys and values inside inverted commas. But in object, The key are not placed inside the inverted comma, which we will discover in the upcoming lectures when we are working with the front end and the back end. Here is a brief explanation about each and everything. React is a front-end library, as I have already said, which is used in order to build the user interfaces and components. And Express is the backend web application framework for Node.js, which simplifies the server-side development. And here we can see that why the MERN stack is so much popular. This MERN stack is highly scalable, which means that as the number of users increase, the functionality of the MERN stack is not going to go down, which means that if the number of users are going to increase, say for example, we are creating a website using MERN stack, and if I increase the users from 50 to 100, then the website is going to get collapsed. So that is not known as a scalable website. Getting my point? Your website should be in a way that if the number of users increase, it should be so much efficient that it is able to handle a lot of users, irrespective of the number of users increasing. This is what we exactly mean by the scalability. And as I have already told, that we only need to learn JavaScript in order to build websites using MERN stack. Okay, here is the short comparison between MERN and mean as well as lamp stack. In main stack, we use the Angular in order to create the front end of the website. So Angular is also a front end framework just like React. And one more thing that I have to tell you is that React, as we will learn in this internship, is developed by Facebook itself. So we can see that how much helpful is React for the developers in order to build the front end of the website. Okay. All right. So Express. Express is said that it offers flexibility in backend structure, which enables quick development. So in Java Spring Boot, we used to write a lot of codes, a lot of number of lines of code. But in case of Express, that amount of code has become a little concise, if you are going to say take that. So in Java, we used to write a lot of packages which are going to be used inside our backend. But in case of Express, there are no there are packages, but the way we write in Express using JavaScript is helpful for the developers in order to write the code in a concise way and look at more clean and efficient. I have already told you people about the React, and that is the same thing that are written over here. Okay, coming on to the Node.js. So Node.js empowers developers to build applications that manage significant loads efficiently. So how many of you do know about the stateless nature of the HTTP requests? Just raise your hands. How many of you do have the idea about this? The stateless nature of the HTTP. Right. Sujal Malik, are you there in the meeting?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So Sujal, can you briefly explain what is the stateless nature of HTTP?
Ma'am, HTTP is an internal package of a Node.js, which is majorly used to handle server and routes for our backend project. Just like Node.js has an internal package of HTTP, which render a server side rendering. Just like we send request to the server, and it responding according to the request. But it is very complex to handle routes. That is why Express is come to overcome this problem.
All right, still you can switch your mic off. Polumi, do you want to say something about the stateless nature of HTTP requests?
Yes, ma'am. It is stand for Hypertext Transfer Protocol. It is a safer way to communicate between client and my server, and to send request and response via HTTP.
I'm asking about the stateless nature. Okay, it's obviously all right if you do not have any idea. So the stateless nature of HTTP request is known that, say for example, you are logging in to a website, right? So over there, whenever you use a website like Instagram or Facebook, etc., and you are going back to a web page and skipping that web page, do you need to log into that website again and again?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
All right. So this is because the stateless nature of HTTP, which means that when you have to go back to a website, and after that you want to come back to a particular website. Over there, your data, your entered data is stored, so that you do not have to provide the entire data again. Exactly, it stores the data to the local storage, which means that each request which is made by a client to the server, it contains all the information needed to understand and process the request. And here, the server does not retain any information about the client's previous requests. Getting my point?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So if whenever I ask you what do you mean by the stateless nature of the HTTP, then what you have to say that it contains the data of the user, which the user does not have to enter again and again. The data is stored in the local storage. Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Now here, the HTTP, that is the Hypertext Transfer Protocol, has certain methods that are the get method, the post method, put method, delete method, etc. And these are used in order to perform different kind of functionalities to our website. Say for example, you want to read some of the data which is present inside the database. So what will happen is that the user will make a get request, that is exactly one of the HTTP requests. He will make the get request to the server so that the server can fetch the entire data from the database and provide to the user. This is what we call reading the data which is present inside the MongoDB. Now moving on to the post request. So for example, the user wants to create a new entry inside the database. So for that purpose, what the user has to do? The user has to send the post request to the server, which is and the required data that the user needs to enter, or he wants to be present inside the MongoDB. Over there, he has to send the post request, which means creating a new entry. Now, say for instance, if a company has its own website and one of those employees has left that company, so what will happen? The company is not going to store the data of the employee anymore. Say for example, the company regularly used to update the salary of that particular employee who has already left that company. So what will that company do? He is going to update the database, and over there he has to update certain changes. And what are those changes? Say for instance, the month or the time period inside which the employee is working in that company has to be updated, because now he has stopped working for that company. And along with that, his salary, pay structure, etc. has to be updated or changed. Right? So over there, what we have to do? we have to set the put request in order to update the data which is already present inside the database. Now, are you getting to know the basic difference between the post request and the put request, or are there any doubt? If there are any doubts, then you people can ask me. All right. So the put request is used in order to update the already existing data which is present inside the database. Now moving on to how this data is present in the database. So over there, the entire data is in the database. But in case of erasing a data, what you have to use? The data should have one characteristic that is unique to every entry. In case of MongoDB, it provides an ID to each and every entry created inside the database. And we use that ID in order to provide uniqueness to the request. Say, for example, I have provided 3 entries inside my database, which are obviously stored in a JSON format in MongoDB. Over there, the first entry is provided the object ID, say for example 1. And following that, the second entry is provided the unique ID 2, and the third entry is provided the unique ID 3. So while making the delete request, the user has to pass the ID of that particular data which he wants to delete. So this is how this entire functionality is performed in the website. Understood till this much?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, ma'am.
Okay. Here are the examples and the advantages that we can create different kind of e-commerce websites, social media platforms, etc. using the MERN stack. That's it. Now, let's begin with creating a server for the backend for today's class. So let's open the File Explorer. Here I'm going to create a new folder. All right. Now I will open it in VS Code. Okay, the option is not provided over here like this. Right, no issues. You go to Visual Studio Code. And here I will open the folder. All right. So in order to create a server, what you have to do is, here inside the B7 intro, I will create a folder. That's the backend. So whenever we are creating the server, which means we are designing the backend of a particular particular website. And now inside the terminal, here I will write in order. See, here we can see that the folder which is present over here in which we are present is B7 intro. But I want to create the server inside this backend folder. So for that, I will write cd backend. And then I will write a command npm inity. Okay. So in order to work with the Express and React, I have already told you people that you need the Node.js. So in order to create a MERN website, the most prior and important thing that you need to have in your respective laptops and PCs is that you have to install the Node.js. And this npm stands for the Node Package Manager. All right. So now what do we mean by the Node Package Manager? Say, for example, we are present in a company, right? So what happens over there is, in order to hire all the employees and in order to remove all the employees, there is a person. Who is that person? Come on, tell me. Yeah. And who do we call HR? Exactly. So as the HR works for the company in order to install different employees to the company, or in order to remove certain employees from the company. Along with that, he also evaluates how the different employees are working inside the company, right? So here, in order to install certain packages inside the backend folder, we need the npm. And what packages do we need to require in this? We need to install npm. See, as I have written npm inity, inside the backend folder, you will get a package.json file. And now, what is the use of this package.json file? This file contains all those packages that we are installing inside this backend folder using the command npm install. Say, for example, I want to install the Express package. So for that, I will write npm install Express. See, inside the dependencies, it's showing Express. Why? Because just now we have installed the Express dependency inside the backend folder. After that, if I want to install NodeMon, see, NodeMon is also being displayed over here. So this is the exact purpose of having the package.json file. Now, in order to create a server, we will go to the backend folder and we will create a server with the extension .js. All right. So here, since I have installed the Express, what I have to do, I have to import the Express as well. So how am I going to import the Express? In order to import the Express package, we have to write a variable. All right. So let me see how many of you do have the answer for this. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Tista, are you there? Tista, Sarkar? Okay. So Tista, can you tell me how can we define, or how are we going to provide variables in JavaScript? 3 keywords are there that we use in order to provide variables in JavaScript.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, all right. Great.
Late bar const.
Okay. Now you can switch your mic off. All right. So here, in order to create a variable, I will write const express. And inside this express variable, I am going to store the imported express package. For that, I have to write require. And then inside the require, I will write express inside the inverted commas. So this is the first way to import a package. All right. So when do we use this first way? Whenever inside the package.json, here the type will be common.js. Whenever the type is going to be common.js, at that time, we have to use this method in order to import a particular package from the package.json file. And if I will change this to module type, and I will save this. This time, this entire statement will become wrong. Why? Because the type has become module now. So whenever the type is module in the package.json file, at that time, you have to import the packages in this way. That is import express from, here you have to write express. Got my point, or are there any doubt? So these are the two ways through which we can import the packages present inside the package.json file. Understood? Or are there any doubt? All right. Which mode prefer to use? See, it entirely depends upon you. I I usually use that import, or at times I also use that common.js. All right, so now we have imported this express module, right? And I will go back here, and here I will make it again the common.js. And I will save it. I will comment it. Yeah. After importing the express, I will assign this express to one more variable, that is const app is equal to express, which I have just imported. So why am I doing this? I'm doing this so that whenever I want to write or I want to use this express package, I can just simply write app. Got it? So this is why I'm assigning this entire express package to the app variable. Now moving on to the middleware. Is app dot express dot JSON.
Ma'am, your voice is lagging.
This is a yeah, am I audible properly this time?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
What did you hear till now?
Ma'am, from middleware introduction itself, you were not audible.
Okay. So we were using the express.json middleware in order to get all the data from the server in a JSON format. And in order to understand what is the JSON format, this is the exact format provided by the JSON. That is,
Sorry to
each
interrupt,
and every.
ma'am, but you are not sharing your screen right now.
Okay, all right. Yeah, is the screen visible now?
Yeah, ma'am.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you for the information. All right. So here we can see that this entire data. See, all these data which are separated by a comma are present inside the inverted commas, which are separated by the colon are present inside the quotation, right? And they are placed inside the curly braces. This is what we exactly mean by fetching a data in a JSON format. So we want the data from the server in this same format. In order to fetch the data from the server in a JSON format, we use this app.use express.json. Understood? Or are there any doubt? All right. Now, just do you people have any idea? Like, how do you connect your pen drives with your PCs or your laptops? What do you use in order to connect them? And where do you insert the pen drive in your laptop?
In a port.
Yeah. So, in our respective devices, we are provided with different ports. And why are they provided? In order to connect different things in order to share the data. Similarly, here also, this port is a virtual port, which is used in order to connect the backend to the front end. And these are the respective port numbers. And here, in order to use this port, we have to write, in order to create a server, we have to provide app.listen. And inside the listen method, we have to pass the port as the very first parameter. And then, can anyone name this? What is this one that I have just written? That is this parenthesis and curly braces.
Arrow function.
Callback function.
Callback function.
Yeah, this is the arrow function. So here, inside this, all right, just tell me, how can I print something in the console? What should I write?
Console.log.
Okay.
Whatever you want to print.
Console.log. And what do we call this?
Template literals.
Okay. So inside the template literal, I will write server is running on, and here I will write HTTP localhost, and here I will provide the port number. Got it? Why are we passing the port number as the first parameter inside the listen method? And now what I will do is I will save this. And in order to run the server, what I will do, which command do I have to write? I can write node server.js. Can you see that it is responding that server is running on HTTP localhost this much? It was visible, right?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So, say for example, I have to change the port number from 500 or 5000 to 6000. And now I will save this. And this time what I have to do, I have to stop the server, and then I have to again write node server.js. So this time it is providing the port number as 6000. So this server is a small server that we are creating. But in the real life projects, there are numerous number of alterations that we have to do in the backend. And each time we have to write the node server.js, which becomes very difficult for us in order to write each one thing again and again. Which is why what we are doing, we have just installed the node1. Right? So whenever we are going to make certain kind of changes in the server, and when we will save this, then the server will automatically refresh itself. Say for example, I will write node1 server.js. See, it's providing us 6000. But in case of the port number, I will change 6000 to 6600. And then I will change it to the lowercase. Server is running on. And then I will save this. Now are you being able to see the server is being restarted and with the provided alterations. So this is exactly how the node1 works. That whichever changes we are making is being stored and the server is being restarted itself without us even writing the same command again and again in order to run the server. Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So that's it for this class. And if there are any doubt with you people, like how to create the server and whichever thing we require in order to create the server, then you people can ask me.
Ma'am, can you explain middleware once more?
Okay. All right. So there's a website, or that's not a website, that's an API actually. Like yes. Placeholder. Yeah. Are people being able to see this data?
Yes, ma'am.
In which format is it?
JSON.
JSON.
It's in a JSON format, right? So how are we being able to fetch this data in a JSON format? With the help of this express.json middleware. Let me show you people how this thing works. As the server is running. Okay. Here I will write app.get and can you guess why did I write this get app.get?
To get the data from user.
Yeah. So a few minutes back, I have explained you people about the HTTP requests. So here, what am I doing is I am making the get request to the server. And here I am taking request and response as the parameters. And here I will provide const name is equal to Sana. And then I will write response.json. Inside this, I will pass the name. And then I will save this. See, after saving this, the server is automatically getting restarted, right? So here, I will go to this Thunder client, make a new request. And here I will write HTTP. Yeah. What was the port number? It was 6600, right? So here I will update this. And since I have provided this slash over here, this means this one is the API endpoint. Or else, instead of providing a mere slash, you can also say that slash and then followed by name. And then I will save it again. So here, I will provide, set the Thunder client. After the slash, I will provide name. And then I will send the request. Are people being able to see the name?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And in which format is it?
JSON.
JSON, ma'am.
Okay. Now, if here I want to say that here I will write the name is comma name. Yes. After that, I will provide one more thing. Const message is equal to welcome. After that, let me provide it a template matrix. Yeah. Here I will provide the name. And after the name, I will pass the message. All right. And this time, I will save this again. Here I will go back to this. And I will send the request again. See, what is this? Is it resembling that package.json file?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So now are you being able to understand why are we writing this express.json?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, who asked this question? Om, I guess.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So Om, now are you clear with this?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So by the next class, what you people have to do is just install Visual Studio Code, Node.js, and just search in YouTube how to get your MongoDB URI. And then install the MongoDB components. And you have to create your MongoDB URI by going to its official website. That is the MongoDB Atlas. It's not one. Yeah. And click on the Get Started. Yeah. In order to get your MongoDB URI, you have to fill up this form and you have to sign up inside the MongoDB Atlas. After that, you have to get your MongoDB URI. And then you also have to install this MongoDB components. Just do this much of work, and then in the next class, we will learn how to create different datas and provide it to the server, and how to work with different datas, like updating them, creating them, etc. Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Because if you will not have your MongoDB URI, you will not be able to perform a single functionality in the backend. Because you have to integrate the backend with the MongoDB, right?
Yes.
So MongoDB URI is very essential for that purpose. All right. If there are no any doubts, then you people can leave the meeting.